Hello students, hope you have a pleasant day. Today I am going to discuss a few extract based questions of A Horse and Two Goats. But before I begin, I am going to make you aware of certain difficult words and their meanings. So they're there on the slide, so if you want you can note them down. Dotting, spread out, microscopic, very small, grandiose, impressive, gorgeous, attractive. Gargoyles, a comically carved human or animal face or figure. Balustrade, a railing, sallied, marched out. Crook, a bent or curved implement. Snapped, broke. Fagots, a bundle of sticks. Nourishment, do you know it? The food needed for growth. Tethered, fastened or tied. Craving, a strong desire. Sauce, that you all know very well. Upturned, upward directed. Sneered, gave a mocking smile. Parapet, low wall, unobtrusively, unnoticingly. Scoundrel, rogue, flung, hurled forcefully. Recoup, recover. Conjure, to create or achieve something difficult. Accosted, detained, cronies, friends. Lounging, standing in a relaxed way. Summoned, called, progeny, offspring. Bullied, forced, meandered, curved. Then we have to topple off, to make something, here it's unsteady and fall down. Inscribed, written or carved words, something which is permanent. Arid, dry. Cactus, a plant which grows in the deserts. Lanterna, an evergreen bush, a shrub. Tilted, slanted, scrounged, borrow or beg, intrigued. Lured, novelty, something which is unfamiliar or new. Spectacles, shows, the scenes. Assortment, a variety, casually, in an informal way. Sputtered, produce explosive sound. Then we have pedestal, base on which a statue is mounted. Crouch, bend down, molded, shaped. Reared, raised, prancing, moving with high springy steps. Scythe, a tool with curved blade, especially for cutting long grass. Mustachios, mustaches. Bulging, swelling eyes. Aquiline, curved. Brocade, a rich fabric. Sash, waistband. Vandals, persons who deliberately try to damage others' property. Then mutilated, disfigured. Speculation, guesswork. Courteously, respectfully. Ingratiatingly, intending to gain approval. Implored, pleaded with. Scruples, doubts. Reflective, deeply thoughtful. Oration, discourse. Camphor, a substance with an aromatic smell. Gestured, indicated. Driftwood, pieces of wood floating on the sea. Churned up, moved something violently. Pinioned, held down. Stimulating, arousing interest. Assuming, accepting something to be true. Get a kick out, to enjoy something. Parangi, foreign language, or Firangi. Running his finger along, touching smoothly. Adversaries, enemies. Kaliyug, the last of the 4 stages that the world goes through. Kalki, according to the Puranas, it refers to the 10th avatar of Vishnu, who will appear at the end of the Kaliyug on a white horse with a drawn blazing sword, and would destroy all the enemies. Redeemer, ultimate savior. Disapprove, object to. Discourse, preached, hugging, tightly embracing. Pad, cover with soft material. Bearish, falling price. The market, famished, very hungry. Wayfarers, travelers. Yamaloka, hell, clump, cluster. Thicket, a dense group of bushes. Splendor, glory. Siphoned off, to draw liquid from something using a tube or a siphon. Tucked away, hidden. Wriggled, turned and twisted the body. Glared, stared angrily. So now we begin with the extract based question. So the first extract is not displayed on the screen, and it could be considered as the first paragraph of your script or the first page. So what is meant by microscopic dot? Microscopic dot is something which is very small. What is said about Kritham in the extract? Kritham was probably the tiniest of the 700 villages in India, as it was a microscopic dot on the survey map. What purpose does a map serve in a village? Now just overlook this, cross this question, that has no relevance. We come straight to the third question. Give a brief description of the village Kritham. Now Kritham is probably the tiniest of India's 700 villages. It is a village that consists of fewer than 30 houses, only one of them built from brick and cement. There are 4 streets in the village with a shop for foodstuff and other items in the 3rd street. Give the meaning of Kritham in Tamil. Now, Kritham in Tamil means crown or coronet on the brow of the Indian subcontinent. Muni lived. Where did Muni live in the village? Muni lived in the last house in the 4th street in the village, beyond which stretched the fields. How did the big house differ from other houses? How does this difference reflect on the theme of the story? Now, the big house, unlike the other houses, was built with brick and cement. This was painted yellow and blue all over with carvings of gods. And there were gargoyles, means figures of humans and animals too. The other houses were made of bamboo thatch, straw, mud, and other specified materials. Now, how does this difference reflect on the theme of the story? It reflects, children, I've told you about the theme. So, one theme of the story was wealth and poverty. So, this big house, now difference in the big house and other houses tells us the difference between the wealthy and the poor. How the poor lived in straw huts and how the wealthy lived in a house made of bricks and cement. And once again, Muni was a poor man and the American was a rich man. So, wealth, and it is based on the theme of the story. This difference is the difference between wealth and poverty. Next extract. How did Muni care for his sheep and goats? Now, Muni would take his sheep and goats every day to the highway to graze around. Why did he carry a crook at the end of a bamboo pole? He carried a crook at the end of a bamboo pole to collect foliage from the avenue trees to feed his flock. The answer is there in the script, children. In his prosperous days, how many sheep and goats did Muni have? Oh, very easy answer. So, make a guess. Yes, he had a flock of 40 sheep and goats. What happened to most of them later? Now, Muni's fortunes declined gradually, and so did his flock of 40 sheep, which got reduced to only 2 skinny goats, which he couldn't even sell. And this happened probably due to some pestilence that afflicted his cattle, or some kind of a disease that afflicted his cattle. What did Muni's wife give him for breakfast and midday meal? For breakfast, she would give him salted millet flour cooked in boiled water, and for midday meal, the same thing she would give him, but with a raw onion. What does this show about the economic condition? This shows that Muni was economically facing a lot of problems. He was a poor man. It shows his poverty, as they could not afford anything else besides this for a midday meal. Why did Muni tether his two goats to the trunks of the drumstick tree. What claim does he have over the tree? Now he tethered, means he tied them to the trunks of the drumstick tree, because so that his two goats could graze only within a set radius, within that area only, and not wander off and get lost. That is why he did it. Now, although nobody can, precisely say who owned the tree, but the only claim Muni had was that he lived in its shadow. So he probably thought that the tree belonged to him. Compare and contrast Muni's prosperous days with his present living conditions. Now, Muni once lived a very prosperous life, and then that time he had a flock of 40 sheep and goats. But now he was left with just 2 goats. Muni wanted to enjoy life, but he had lost all his riches. His fortunes had declined, so he had no option but to remember his past with regret. And he remembered the time when he would smoke cigarette, and it had been now since many years that he last smoked a cigarette. Then he craved to chew the drumsticks out of sauce, but he failed to obtain the food items that prepare it. And he couldn't even get those items on credit from the shopkeeper. So these are the differences in his conditions of the past and the present. Next extract. What was Muni craving for? Muni was tired of eating drumsticks alone, so he wanted to relish them with sauce for a change. Why did his wife agree to supply with what he was craving for? Now his wife agreed to to make sauce for him, because she probably thought that he has grown old and he might not be alive to ask for anything next year. So she thought she would oblige him, and moreover she was a kind-hearted woman and could not see her husband craving for something like this. So she probably thought that she would supply him with what he wants. Then she also said that she would be able to make sauce only. She would oblige him if he could bring a few food items, including a measure of rice or millet. How did Muni attract the attention of the shopkeeper and win over? To attract the attention of the shopkeeper, Muni went and sat on that upturned packing case. Then he kept on clearing and his throat and coughing and sneezing, which made the shopkeeper comment that now if he coughed and sneezed so hard, he would probably go flying into the gutter. So this way the shopman added humor, and Muni also responded to it, to all the jokes cracked by the shopkeeper. So this is how this made him, helped him to win the shopman over. And children, you can also quote the example of his age. Then he lies about his age, that it is his 50th birthday. His daughter will be sending him money, so he asked the shopkeeper to give him on credit. So all these reasons you can give. How could Muni get some raw food items from the shop? Now Muni would just go and sit outside the shop and make some sounds by clearing his throat, coughing and sneezing, until he caught the attention of the shopman, also responding to his jokes. And this is how he then requested for the food items that he needed. How can you conclude from the extract that Muni is from a poor background? Now Muni is from a poor background can be concluded very well from the extract, because Muni's, in the extract it says that there was nothing at home for Muni to eat. So if he wanted to have sauce, he should get all the other ingredients along with a measure of rice or millet, because even millet had finished that means. So he was from a poor background. Compare it with Muni's financial condition as defined earlier. Earlier, Muni was financially pretty strong, and in his prosperous days he had a flock of 40 sheep and goats, and he would never have to go asking the shopkeeper for credit. So this is all. Now we come to the fourth extract. Explain what has happened earlier because of which the shopkeeper was reluctant to give things on credit. Earlier, again you can quote those same examples, that earlier Muni had come a number of times asking for things on credit and saying that he would definitely return all the money when his daughter sends him for his 50th birthday. So these are the reasons probably he tries to tell the shopkeeper that this is the reason. So this is how he tries to win over, by humoring the shopman earlier, promising to pay him later sometimes. Alright, then finally, from where did Muni say he would get the money? Now Muni said that his daughter would send him money for his 50th birthday. What, is he saying the truth? No, it was not. Now this, children, depends what you say. We can say that no, actually he was not saying the truth, he was lying. But somehow he was not too sure of his age also. He thought probably he's 50, so he just made up an excuse saying that he's 50, because he probably calculated his age from the date of the great famine that occurred in the village. According to Muni, how old was he? He was 50 years, and he calculated his age from the great famine, from the time that the great famine occurred in the village. What did the shopman say about Muni's age? Shopman said that Muni was not less than 70. Now, how could he guess? Now, Muni might be, because according to the shopman, he looked that old. So, that is the reason the shopman said that he could not be less than 70. The way he would sit and cough and clear his throat and sneeze. So he probably thought that he would be that old, as old as 70. Now, which characteristic trait of Muni is revealed from this extract? Now, the characteristic trait which is revealed about Muni in this extract is that now Muni was, yes children, I'm back here. So probably Muni here, from the extract we can make out that Muni just lied to his wife, told a lie to his wife, and probably because he wanted to have, he had a craving to have drumsticks with sauce. But Muni was an innocent man, no doubt. He was artless, you can write, but he was not cunning. Though he lied, he did not intend to do any harm. So this is his characteristic trait, that though he was not cunning, though he lied, but he had no intentions of doing any harm to anyone, and he seemed to be an innocent man. You can quote examples from the script and frame your answer in this manner. So, my dear children, this is all for today. I'll discuss a few more extract based questions on the next turn. in my next video. So till then, you please note them down, do your assignment and revise everything very well. Thank you.